Greetings, tacticians. A couple of weeks ago, we gave a coaching session to an Illuvium content creator we all know and love, Scoriox. The goal was to arm him with the right tools to beat his high score without any further input from us. Spoiler, he managed to do it on his first try. And right after the session, pushed all the way to wave 26, completely crushing his previous high scores. So, we've pulled out the most important lessons and discussions to share with you. Use the video chapters to navigate to points of interest, or soak up the full experience as if you were the one playing. If you're interested in seeing Scoriox's takeaways from the session or want to learn more about the Illuvium project as a whole, check out the links in the description.
So I don't know the best way to open. I know quantity has been working pretty well.
Okay, just trying to put down a lot of Illuvials in general.
Yeah, and they're just slowly upgrading.
Okay, so when there's a reset and there's a new deck, what is the first thing that goes through your mind? What are you trying to look for? What are you planning?
I'm trying to look for a little bit of a late game type thing, but I do like going for a good 6 synergy. I did manage 6 Earth before because I was able to do 6 Earth. You can see that if these two double up and these two double up, you actually have 6 Earth pretty comfortably, and you have the hero as well, Arlen. I do like to look for what synergies I'm able to do. You can't really get 6 nature, but 3 nature is pretty good. Air is shot. You can get it with Arlan, but I found Cookalus is really underwhelming. Fire, you could probably go for 3 fire, okay. Problem is flare isn't really so great because it's not magma, so it doesn't do a whole lot. A big thing that is here is the bulwark. There's so much of it in this deck. So building out strong tanks is great, and it only really works if you have good DPS. The big thing here is it's not C4S, it's TNT. And I've got Scoriox, which is great, but no Furiox. So it's really actually quite hard to build up to the DPS. But you spoil it for choice on tanks, that's for sure. So typically I'm thinking open up with pretty good tanks and then build into DPS, because that seems to be really the only path, considering some of the lower tier DPS isn't that great. Besides TNT, TNT's great, obviously. And then trying to get some of the... You've got some of the really good... You've got Fernite, which is really great, and Adorido is also fantastic before you move into Adorius. They're both really good healers. So tank and heal is really good. Then at some point, you need DPS. So figuring out that transition is something I do struggle with. It's definitely something we need to work on.
Yeah, I think this deck is somewhat defensive heavy. But everything you said there was really good, actually. I think that was a really good thought process and good approach. One thing I would probably mention is I think it's a good way to think about things is to look at units first before synergies. So you were kind of checking, how much earth or how much fire is available in the deck. But I would suggest looking specifically for who are my main tanks, potential main tanks late game, and who are my potential carries late game. And then trying to understand whether any of those have some relationship between each other to support each other. And then start to look at synergies as ways of just augmenting them and buffing those guys up so they can achieve their goals a bit better.
Yeah.
So looking at this, like you mentioned, we've got like the Titanor, the Goliath, Axodon, Seer, Scoriox. In terms of the tanks, Titanor, Seer, we can look at straight away. And then carries, it's pretty much just Scoriox, right? Who else? And then Ramfire.
So you've got TNT.
Scoriox and TNT. TNT also fits nicely.
As a stage 2, right? So right now I'm thinking about...
stage 2, and it gets the Granite buff, which is full immunity for 4 seconds.
Yeah, right
so I feel
now
like
I'm just trying to...
opener here.
Oh, he's lagging a bit.
That's all good.
Oh, really?
What do you think, Dennis?
I'm thinking the best opener here is Goliath and TNT.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did actually. I think I did actually do that last time. The thing with these early waves is they're relatively easy, and you can swap in and out really fast. I don't think whatever I make Arlen in this first round is going to matter, but I'll chuck her on the water sword. Why not?
Yeah, so what I was going to say is looking at the deck, the idea is to try and have some sort of end game board or relationship in mind. So having noticing that the Titanor is going to be the main tank and our main carry is probably going to be Scoriox, then we start to look at what kinds of units compare with them quite well. So Scoriox obviously goes very well with Seer.
Yeah.
And since we have the Titanor as well, the TNT, obviously if it was a C4S, it would have been even better. But TNT benefits both of them. Gives you the earth stacking for the Titanor and also Scion for your Scoriox.
Yeah, definitely.
We can have that as like a core and then start building some utility around those units. So yeah, in terms of opener, like Dennis said, I think this is probably the strongest right now, because you raised a good point, which is that we don't have any of the earlier stage units in the line for Scoriox, so it makes it a bit difficult to transition into it while having it on the board. So we can just play something that's strong now and get it in a little bit later.
Well, I don't want to waste any points. Obviously, I wouldn't actually need to add anything to the board to win this round. But if I were to add something, do you think I would just add Arcos?
I think in this spot it's really good to wait one turn and put in Flare.
Well, the thing is, I can put in Arcos and just sell it for Flare next round if I wanted to. You know, it doesn't actually matter.
Yeah. You can do that, but it doesn't really matter for these like early stages.
No.
So that's fine.
So at the moment,
see, I don't like Flare because it's only fire. Although it's got 1550 health, which I did not notice. That's decent.
In this survival mode at the moment, obviously there's no downside, there's no penalty for playing a unit and removing it later, or even just using up all of your mastery points. But at some point, doing things like adding augments or changing your ranger weapons will have an impact on your mastery points. But also there's probably going to be some sort of interest added to the game as well for mastery points you don't spend. So it will become a decision as if I know that I don't need to spend any points to win against this wave, it may become more impactful to save it at that point. So I think it's still useful to have that in the back of your mind while playing.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of changes to the way it works. It is quite early, for sure.
But yeah, there's nothing
to
lose.
In terms of DPS, do you think I need more DPS than I have? Or what is your thinking?
At this stage?
Probably not.
Later on.
Later on, you reckon?
Yeah, right now, like Dennis said, I don't think so. You should have enough DPS.
What you can do is you can sell Arcos and put in Scoriox.
I can.
And then we have like our carries all set up, and we can just start thinking about frontline and utility and things like that.
I think that costs too much to do right now, because that would leave me with essentially one tank if we don't count Arlen.
It's fine for now. He's only playing 2 units on this board.
Yeah, it's fine for now.
All right. And we can pivot later if we need. As far as positioning here, maybe I'll make Arlen a sacrificial lamb. So the other thing here is I've already got 5 earth. So I could throw in the stage 1 rogue and pick up the last earth in a few rounds. But I don't know if that's the best move right now. But it's just worth considering. Because in Earth, you go from 15 grit to 25 grit. And in Granite, you've actually got Granite Alluvials get grit as well. They get 3 grit and 3 resolve for every Earth Alluvial you have. So you're looking at them turning their base. Oh, this might be including the buff already, but you end up going from like 50 and 40 to closer to like 150 or so. I think with just getting the synergy. I'd like to see that in action. So maybe next round we'll grab the synergy and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we could just before the fight to inspect what the stats are. But I believe with the primary and composite affinities, the composite units don't actually benefit from the primary core effect. So if you hover over the Earth affinity quickly,
yep,
the 15 grit and resolve and then 25 grit and resolve at 6, Granite units won't get that effect. They will only get the effect of Earth on Granite, if that makes sense.
I don't know. It makes sense, but we're going to have to test it because in that case, that the Granite Alluvials would actually get less than the Earth Alluvials in this case.
Yes, because it's only
which
3.
Which is fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems really small. I'm assuming that it's probably because of how much they're valuing the 4 seconds of invulnerability.
Yeah, well, the other side of things is once you get to 3 Granite and 4 Granite, that 3 will actually jump up.
Yeah.
So you're being penalized for getting a lot of Earth without getting a lot of Granite, essentially, which is quite fascinating. So I'll chuck it in. So he's currently got 50 physical and 40 energy.
I think
and
these
if I chuck in
base.
this one,
yeah, let's chuck it in to have a look.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they're base.
I don't think it will change until just before the fight starts, so we'll have to check just before the fight starts.
Do you reckon it will show when the fight starts?
Yeah, but you have to check, like right click it just before. So as soon as you click planning and it starts flashing red, I think you can check then.
You can right click during the fight.
I don't know if it has the stats up, but we can check, yeah.
Okay. So the other thing here is they've got the Lolura. I mean, really, it shouldn't harm my team too much, but there's no point letting it. So I think that's a good play here. And then maybe I just leave Lura to take out Cooker, even though Cooker will probably heal a bunch. And he doesn't have the air affinity. Okay. Do you want me to zoom in much during the battles and things, or how do you feel?
That's up to you. I mean, it's cool to watch them fight. I don't mind zooming in on them.
Sure.
Can we reset
the graphics are nice.
Yeah. So he's 50-40.
Can we reset the camera quickly? Oh, okay. Have you already clicked it?
He's still 50-40. It's not showing me anything. It's bumping up slightly when he gets hit, and I don't know what that's about. 72-62. 72-62. So that's 22 and 12 or so. He got buffed up, which I don't understand.
Yeah, that seems strange, doesn't it?
Oh, wait. Goliath then gains 15 physical resistance for the rest of the battle. So he got 12 on the resist, and he got 12 plus 15 on the physical, which makes me think that you're right, that it's just based on the Earth Alluvials, which I technically only have 4 of, so 12 makes sense. So you're right, he's just pulling the Granite. I only have 4 Earth Alluvials because Granite counts as 2, so they don't count for double.
I think they do. If you look on the composite, next to Granite, you can see at the top right, it shows you the count. I believe that count is showing you how much you're
that's interesting.
for the benefits.
So that must be a bug. That must be a bug then, because he was only receiving 12. I think. Because he only went up to 62 on the other side. But he started off at 40, so he went up to 22.
You might have to
Interesting.
check again, yeah.
I don't think it's worth checking again. That already exhausted my brain.
There was something specific on wave 6 with the positioning that I wanted to mention, but we got past it. So if it comes up again now.
Alright. So this one here, I feel like I can sell Lura and snag Ajaribo. And what that'll mean is what I've learnt is I can put Ajaribo back here and then Dual F will always attack it, which will be good. Believe me when I say that will be good.
It would be good. I don't know if we need it right now. So if we also try to consider the cleanliness of our transition and us building up our board, I feel like your board is strong enough to beat this already. And it would be more important for us to be able to put in, to try to get in our core frontline unit, like a Seer, to help benefit our Scoriox. What you're saying is definitely correct. But in terms of having a plan and strategy for building out our core board, if we put Adaredo in now, it delays us from getting Seer, which is really core to our board, if that makes any sense.
Yep. So is there any way you would consider right now that I could avoid Dual F just shredding Scoriox?
Just try not to clump too much.
Yeah, and I'd probably sacrifice TNT.
Here.
Yeah, spread out your team a bit more, yeah.
Okay, I'll go with this one then. I'll chuck in Atlas. Yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Atlas loves it. The faster I can kill Singe, the better. Oh, he missed! I have not seen that before.
Dual F didn't even cast, did he?
I'm not sure. We can actually check though. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay, so now if I wanted to, I could sell Atlas and Lura.
Yeah, we can lose
and I could
Atlas
pick up. I could pick up Seer.
Yep.
And I think it's way better.
Okay, so the Scorpion, never underestimate the Scorpion. That's all I have to say about that.
Yep.
What I'm thinking here is chuck Golion at the front. That was working well for me when I last played. And then I might actually chuck Ganti to bait ram fight. No. I could throw in Atlas to bait ram fight.
So I think at this point, Arlen has the shield, right? So you can use Arlen to catch the ram fight and get off a stun.
She stuns with the shield, does she?
Yeah.
Oh, she does too. I knew that.
And then in terms of... Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, whereabouts exactly would you put her? Because this is always a really tricky one. Because Ram fight starts in the middle. She's going to start running off. It's a tricky one.
So she will start running off in the direction of the closest unit. So if you want to lead ram fight to the left, then you have Arlen slightly to the left of the center of the board. If you want to push ram fight to the right, then slightly to the right. It's that the enemy board is pretty symmetrical here. So it's a choice between chasing after the right plants or chasing after the Archelion.
I feel like taking out Riplance early is gonna benefit me more here.
Yeah, and so then this positioning is pretty good.
Like that? Yeah. Well, I do want to chuck in one of the 30 mastery point alluvials.
Yep.
But which one? You reckon?
So if you feel as though you can win without it, then it doesn't really matter at all. Tatapi does benefit. It doesn't add any new affinities or classes, right, at any points into them, but it will benefit from everything you have. And so since we already have a lot of earth and a bit of sound in there, sound isn't activated, right? but it will benefit more than the Atlas will.
Well, what am I going for next round? What do I need the 35 for?
Okay, so let's have a look at the
Okay,
board. What do
Dennis
we have?
is here. He's just trying not to speak. Although, Dennis, your mic has been working really good, so just as a heads up. So what are we going for next, do you think?
If we look at the board, we have two frontline units, two backline units, same kind of stages. So the balance is pretty decent, right? Got a stage 3 frontline, stage 3 backline, stage 2 frontline, stage 2 backline. So we have two options. We can start to look to add some utility, or we can try to upgrade our full frontline. Dennis, what do you think?
I think a door might be a good start.
Yeah, one thing you could do right now is sell Goliath and put in Titanor, but you can do that, but you can also wait for next turn and just add Kukulis, and that unit is insane.
Because it gives
the shielding it provides is really nice. And we don't have anything like that in our board right now, so...
It doesn't just shield. It needs air. It needs air to shield. Wait. It needs empath.
So empath shields the highest health. 3 empath would shield the highest health unit at the start of the fight. And then start shielding the lowest health after, every 6 seconds or something like that. But
pretty much.
Enchanter gives you a shield every time an Enchanter casts. It shields the whole team.
Yeah.
I did not realize that. Okay, we can go Kukulis next round. I might just throw Tataby in. I'd be curious to see that, because the shield utility I think would be powerful.
For 40 gold, it's so gold efficient.
So the thing I can do here is I can bait all 3 tanks into Goliath by placing Seer at the back here. And what that will allow me to do is try and trap Malura and Vermilier. If I move these guys a bit more forward, I should be a bit safer. That's something I always forget to do. Yep. So what do you reckon about this setup?
The problem I'm having here is the enemy Titanor might hit like almost every unit on your board. So that might not be the best. Like having a corner bait is really good in scenarios like this. Like these, because it's just nice.
So something so as the board is like this, hold on, let me get something up. We can achieve the same thing you're talking about here, right? If we just move this right down, here, and then we put the Scoriox in this corner here instead. That way, the reason this is important is we're focusing most of our damage on their tankiest unit right now. So this is going to waste a lot of time. If we're happy to sacrifice the C4, the TNT, then if we position like this, we can get through and deal with the tankiest unit last whilst everybody else is dead.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
And in terms of the Kukulis, we should try to position Kukulis in a way that we can get good effectiveness from its CC here, and not necessarily stack too close to the Arlen. So I think you can move Arlen right in between, like right here somewhere, because the stun from the shield is actually, it has a slight radius. It's AoE. Okay. And then if we move,
it's a cone. That's what it says it is, anyway.
And then you can move Goliath ever so slightly to the left. The reason being is because most of his board is like I mentioned before, is like on the right side. So then we'll just get a slightly better angle on its ult.
That
if we make it a little bit more aggressive, if we just move Goliath ever so slightly to the left.
Oh, you're talking about Goliath, sorry.
Yeah. And then also, like I mentioned before, with the backline bait here you have with the Seer, I think if we shift it to the right a bit, it allows us to keep the rogues from walking up closer to our team. If we can try and make Seer path in this kind of a direction or this kind of a direction rather than like over here, right? Because then it's leading the rogues into our team.
Okay, he just dropped. Dennis just dropped.
Dropped completely.
I'm just asking him what's happening.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah. Do you want me to hit play?
Yeah, sure. And we can zoom in and have a look at the fight for this one if you want.
Well, they Seer dragged them.
Nice. It's beautiful. He's kept them all over there.
The cone, I think, managed to stun both, which was good. We took out their big tank.
And now look at
And look at that. Seer is putting in work. I've never seen him do so much.
So Seer has magma. Seer is incredibly good at being bait for rogues. He's really good at like the scenario you were mentioning, having to fight 2v1 or 3v1.
Yeah.
Because of the magma area of effect damage when units are around him.
Do you want to continue without Janice for now? Oh wait, no, he's typing right now. He said we should just finish without him.
Okay. That's a shame. Okay, so here we have 45 mastery points. So we can replace our Goliath with Titanor.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so what were you saying?
So, yeah, every wave, if we can, while the fight's going on, we should be trying to think about, okay, how much mastery points will I have next wave? And what is the most effective thing I can do with them? And keeping in mind the idea we had from the beginning of the board we were trying to go to. So Titanor was the core frontline unit we wanted to try to get in. So at this wave now we have 45 mastery points. We can replace our Goliath with Titanor and really bolster up our frontline.
So all I was going to say was we currently only have the Malura engaging on the back. And do you think it's a big deal if Malura hits Kukulus?
No, not necessarily.
You want to leave that then?
So in terms of things to think about here, first thing to identify is who's the main threat in terms of damage on the enemy team. Right?
Probably C4us.
Yeah, C4us. So we think about doing things to deal with the C4us. So in that instance, I would probably consider swapping the sides of the Titanor so that Titanor is on the opposite side of C4us. Because especially if you think about where C4us's damage comes from, right? It's not like a Scoriox who is single target, sustained DPS. It's a big cast that will hit anyone on the board. So it's not that important to have your main tank right in front of it, if that makes sense. But we get a lot of value from making sure we can target that with Titanor CC. So,
right. I didn't know where you were going with that, but I get it now. Yeah. Again, I keep forgetting about the Titanor CC.
That's fine. So what else is there to consider? And if it's safe for us to have our carry on the same side as their carry to try to get to them quickly, which is probably good. So right now, the right-hand side looks safe for our Scoriox to be on. And then the Malura is what's jumping to the back line. Yeah, we just want to keep that isolated from the rest of our team, if possible.
I mean, he is immune for 4 seconds. If we chuck Kukulus all the way across,
then yeah, it's actually safe.
Jump Titanor back a little bit, he'll be able to drag these two tanks at some point, as well as Malura and Axodon.
To be honest, you can probably even leave it forward and slightly to the left. It'll catch them anyway. It's going to be the closest. But yeah, this is fine.
Disagree, because he's going to run a little bit. make sure that drags thing out. Okay.
You could consider putting Cuculus. Oh, that's fine.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
To basically save some of the time it wastes by walking forwards, by moving it forward a bit, because there's actually no danger on the right-hand side at all.
Yeah, I know. I forgot that in the end. My bad. I really need to take out C for us. There we go. The ult got him. And stopped an ult. Wow. That little bit of placement adjustment stopped an entire C for us ultimate. Omega.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
CC is always incredibly important. And Titanal's a really good unit.
Here's a big rogue round.
There are a lot of damage threats here, but no frontline. So what are you thinking?
I don't know. I do want to consider the Sin Elf when I'm making my decisions. I know that both Ramfight and Vermilier are going to jump to the back, and as we established before, Seer does really well against that sort of thing. So I'm going to chuck Seer right in the back corner. Umbra's going to jump the back here, but I reckon I can bait it with Arlen. And then since he has no front line, I can leave these two at the very front. The problem I have is this is going to auto-target them. So I might want to chuck Titanor in front. The only risk I see here is if I stuff it up against Umbra a bit too much, they're going to get targeted a bit too early. But maybe leaving both these guys at the back could work out in my favor. And really, I do want to chuck in Arcos here. It will give me one more Bulwark, puts me at 5. Quite like it here. Or I can go Atlas into Axodon of some degree. I don't know. I feel like Arcos does a lot here. So I'm going to chuck it in there. I think this is enough to suffice.
Okay.
The beauty is that now Sin Alpha is going to go for Seer. So.
Okay, so this is pretty good. You try to isolate the rogues on the right-hand side of the board and move the rest of your board to the left. You've put your carries in a relatively safe space, and you've tried to get bait for this Umber here so it doesn't start auto-attacking on your Scoriox.
The last thing is actually swapping these two around, because TNT gets all the earth buffs and it gets the immunity.
Resistances when it casts an immunity at the start of the fight. Yeah. So some things I would consider here. Since we're using Seer to defend against these rogues on the right-hand side, it becomes a bit more dangerous to also have it tanking the sign-off ult as well at the same time. That's a lot of work for this Seer to be doing, right? So when I'm looking at this board, I'm thinking, we don't necessarily have a great bait for the sign-off, at least for the first cast. So one thing you could do is actually play the Tatapy to actually just use it as a bait. Don't do it now. I'm still just thinking through this myself, just talking out loud with you.
Sure.
Instead of the
Arcos. But then I'm not going to be able to drag this is the only spot that drags both the rogues. Anyways.
Yeah, so I was thinking we would actually wrap Tatapy in that corner and have 2 units around the Tatapy to drag the rogues, if that makes sense.
Interesting.
So again, here I'm thinking Titanor, it might actually be good to put Titanor next to your Seer, you know?
Yeah. It's so good too, because it'll actually target sign off with the ult.
Yes, but it depends. So what do you think is more valuable here? Because where he was before, in the front line, he would actually end up targeting the rogues in the back line that are going for your Seer. And I think both of those are actually good scenarios.
He doesn't target the rogues.
Once the rogues jump to the back line, they'll end up being the furthest units away from him. So he'll end up casting his ult on the rogues.
Oh, with his ult, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I think Seer can beat the rogues on his own.
Yeah.
Because he actually gets Hyper on Vermilier.
Yeah, Vermilier won't build the Hyper up quickly. I guess the problem is if the sign-off casts pretty early and then wrecks it. But I think you win this wave regardless, so... And
I like Titanor here.
The core of what you were doing was good.
I think we'll try this. I think it'll work. See, this is what I was afraid of. But that being said, I did swap TNT and Scoriox for this very reason.
Yeah, that was a really good move there. And TNT stayed alive.
Yeah. Think it's neat. You can have one thing target it, but as soon as two things target it, it's going to die a bit quick. Yeah, the problem is actually Blazonite. That's the big piece here.
Yep, he'd be good to try to focus and get rid of quickly. So this is a scenario where you can actually target Blazonite right from the start of the fight with your Scoriox.
Oh, yeah. I feel like this works well. Drag ram fight, but I want to try and drag it to the left. I feel like it's just close enough to be able to drag ram fight to the left. It's going to be interesting, but I think it'll work. What do you reckon?
Okay, this is pretty good. Nice. I think you've identified most of the threats and you've put your team in a safe place. There's a small thing I want to mention, though. If you look at how this is this flare or is this Singe? This is Singe, isn't it? How the Singe is standing here. What will happen is Singe will end up going for your Kukulos. We can actually manipulate his movement a bit as well by placing something to the left of it to make it have to path this way, and then it leaves this clear space for everyone to just go for this, because right now this is going to end up walking in this direction and might take some of the attention of like the C4S because it's going to be in closer range. If we can move it to the left, we can focus everyone and try and get rid of this Blazonite. That's just a minor thing to consider as well. You can actually manipulate the positioning of the enemy's melee units quite well with little things like this.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's give that a shot. I've actually got 5 Bulwark now, just as a heads up.
5 Bulwark, okay. Yeah. This game, this is one of the things that's pretty interesting about this game and unique compared to other auto battlers, in the sense that you naturally, coming from another game, you would feel like, oh, this is a bit awkward to be in between breakpoints. But if most of your units that are benefiting from these are composites, hitting the next breakpoint isn't actually a massive bonus, right? It just gives one more of the slight bonus that thing would provide to the composite, since they don't benefit from the primary.
The composites get these ones.
Yeah. So it's really interesting to think about. It's weird to get used to be honest. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think this will work.
Think about remember the Titanor CC is one of the main parts of your board strength as well. Sure. So always have a target in mind with who you want that to hit, and not just thinking of him as a tank.
Yeah, so the rest of my board has taken out Scoriox, so I think if I angle him slightly to the right, I'm going to have a better chance of going for C4S.
So, like you're saying with Adorius, I think you either have to target him first or target him last. Generally, I prefer to target him last. If nothing touches him, it has to take a long time to get its energy up to cast its Omega.
I don't actually think Omega energy charges the same way.
The same way in what sense?
In TFT. I don't think dealing damage and taking damage boosts the bar at all. It seems to be a timer.
No, it actually is. It is both of those. It's quite similar. So it's
Okay.
yeah, it's pre-mitigation damage for taking damage. So it doesn't matter how tanky they are. It's the damage they're taking has an impact on how much energy they gain. But also when they're dealing damage, I think it's based off of their base attack speed. It's inversely proportional to that. So that is probably where you're seeing the timer-based effect. Someone with less attack speed, base attack speed, will generate energy at the same rate as someone with higher base attack speed when they auto attack. I think that's how it's been set up. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's probably where I'm missing that then.
So in terms of the rest of
what
the
do you think
board,
of this setup?
I don't know. It's something. It's not feeling too safe right now. I think we can try to keep Cuculus safe to make sure it casts a bit safer. We can probably, now we have Adoredo in here, we could probably use Adoredo a little bit more as a tank in the back line to attract one of these rogues. It'd be very good if we can make sure Cuculus casts so we can get that Enchanter shield on our team.
It should cast here.
Yeah. So one micro thing I would do is I would probably put the Cuculus. Wait, is that he has Magma on his team, doesn't he? Yeah. I would actually let the Cuculus be in range of the Flare. Not Flare, sorry, Singe. To let it take some damage to cast a little bit earlier. So where you had the Titanol was good, but just put Cuculus right in, somewhere where it can take a bit of damage as well, yeah. To try to get it to cast a shield earlier, the AoE from the Magma.
Sure. Alright. How's that look then?
Doesn't look too bad.
Alright, let's do it.
I'm a bit nervous though. Last board didn't look too bad in it. It wasn't going as well as we
planned. Look at that, what the hell?
Cast?
That's really unfortunate. Ramfire's about to cast.
What is Ramfire doing over here?
He didn't target Seer at all.
Run away.
That is so lucky.
He wiped everyone out. I'd really like to watch that back. How did he end up on the right side of the board?
He didn't target Seer at all.
Did we move Seer too far to the left-hand side?
Seems that way. Seer ran straight forwards. He was about here.
Okay.
Ramfire landed there and then went straight for Adoredo.
I mean, that changed so much in that fight. That was actually crazy. We almost lost that one. We almost lost that
one. Alright. This looks like the one I got up to. Yeah.
I think you probably have enough to try to let's see if after everything we've spoken about you can handle this wave.
Yep. I'm 100% putting him in. I like the 3 at the back here. I think it works very much the same as how we just got it. I kind of want this for Synalf, but the issue is Seer might target it, which I'm not loving. On the other side, I would actually... I don't know, I feel like this is a great line for Titaner's ult, so I do kind of want to leave it. I feel like an even better line is actually right in the corner. I like how you can pan around to try and grab the Illuviums
really
easier.
Nice that you can do that.
I feel like right in the corner actually works a bit better here. I got to make sure that the Goliath targets him, but I think I can do that equally as well if I move my units back a little bit. Thankfully, his rogues aren't to the right too much, so they shouldn't actually target me too hard. So the big problem here is actually Riptorus, Riplance, but I should get to it quickly with all the DPS. I have a decent DPS. It's not perfect, but it's something. The last thing I do want to consider is hopefully in this position, Axodon moves just enough to drag Seer. I don't think it's worth putting him forward more. I preferably would want him to target Ramfire, but It's a little bit here nor there. Or actually, you know what? Arlen can actually go here because I think the stun is enough here. And then I can make sure that these two are grabbing the rogues as much as possible. And I'm pretty content with that.
Okay.
The only shortcoming is Kukulus being so far forward, but I'd rather this way. Do you have any thoughts, or do you want me to just go?
I have some thoughts, but I want to let's just run this and see how it goes. I've taken a screenshot.
You think I'll lose though? If you think I don't want to lose.
I don't think you'll lose.
Right.
We'll see how it goes.
We can go.
I think
I'd be really sad if
I think it was good. A good thought process. Yeah. Look what's happened with the Seer and the Ramfire.
He did take a dual F ult though, so as long as I can
shield, didn't get a nice stun from Titanor.
Take out the dual F before another big ult.
Stun from Titanor.
Yeah, very good. Titanor has hyper, which I think is making a bit of a difference. Yeah, that Titanor stun was quality.
We made it.
Yeah. Let's go for top score now. What might you have changed on the last round?
So let me bring up my. It's more of an optimization, but I guess one thing is I would have considered swapping these two, which ended up becoming a pretty big deal. With where the what's his name? Ramfire ended up pathing. Seer went all the way this side, which wasn't great for us.
Yeah, it certainly made a huge difference because that was so clustered up there. A Seer ult there would have been pretty crazy.
But one thing is I guess it's kind of specific for the units you're playing here. Blaze Knight is a unit you want to try to have cast on both the enemy units and your units, if at all possible. So in that scenario, I think we could have actually moved Titanor to maybe somewhere around here.
Mm.
And then try and have Scoriox and Fernite placed in this kind of a line. So that you have Blaze Knight healing your team like this while targeting the enemy back corner and also debuffing the enemies is one thing that we could have done.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's like a very, very slight thing.
This wave's even tougher. I feel like
Scoriox,
the ram fight's on the other side. It's just a shame I can't sell a Dorido for a Dorius right now.
If you're
I'm considering selling
Axodon
for Atlas and then swapping it up.
Yep.
I don't know. Do you think I need him as a tank right now? It's hard to tell.
Right now it's pretty difficult. Can we go back to your synergies? It's pretty difficult for Axodon to really tank that much, I feel. I feel Axodon needs a decent amount of water to be able to cast a lot, because his tankiness is pretty much all inside his ability to cast a shield often. Yeah.
You're not wrong. I've run into that issue a few times. You're spot on there.
So could we possibly, if we upgraded to how much does he cost? It's only 55 actually, so we can't. I was thinking,
he's 70
as well. No,
he's 70. Oh, he's 55. Yeah.
Yeah, so we could probably put in like an Arcos or can we fit Galiant? We don't have enough gold, do we? Adoredo would. I
sold him. I could put in Galiant. Yeah.
I think we should get Adorius in though. For sure.
I think we sell Axodon, and then we get Adorius in,
because this gives us Mystic, which will give us a lot of shielding.
And then I feel like we can actually throw in Arcos.
We can get the Arcos in, yeah. So this is what I was hoping we could do. I think this is going to end up... The one shield from the Mystic will probably be stronger. It's going to be more tankiness and more effective health for our team than the whole Axodon.
The problem I have here is they've got the 2 rogues here.
Yep. So
and they've got the ram fight.
In terms of the enemy strength, which side of the board, left or right, do you feel like the enemy is more dangerous on?
I feel like I can get way more kills early if I go to the right, but I feel like I can take out dual F pretty quickly on the left.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to hit even I changed my mind. I think I'm going to hit harder on the right, and then Titan Air is going to be just able to ult the dual F anyways. The big issue here is that Ram Fight casts a strong ult on me, a strong Omega, which would be unfortunate, but maybe if Adorius and Arcos tank these 2 together. I know it sounds a bit weird, but like this is strong positioning for Fernite. I feel like if I can get... See, it just does so much damage at the front. I feel like just like... It sounds a bit weird, and I'm not convinced it would work that great. But I feel like if these guys shred this front line so quickly, then Ramfight's going to be so far away. They're going to be running off when a Ramfight ults anyways. It's a little bit of a risky play, but I think it makes sense. Actually, that being said, Seer does a lot more. Seer does a lot more against these 2 rogues. I think I hold the heals here. I think this works okay. I think they're far forward enough that I feel like they're far forward enough that Dual F is going to go for Seer or even Adorius and not really hit them. It's a tricky one.
Okay, let's keep the.
I feel like I'm playing this.
Stable.
I feel like I played this wrong. To be honest,
let's have a look at this one. Let me just draw a line over the middle of the board here. So, what can they do? What can the enemy team do? We've got this big ramp fight here. That if we keep around this side, this circle is trash. It's gonna ult in this kind of a radius, probably a bit bigger and further forward.
What is dual F?
The ram fire. I'm just trying to signify all the points of danger here. And then on this left hand side, we have 2 units that want to target the farthest unit. So we have,
Oh yeah.
We have this doing something like this. And we have this doing something like this. And on this right-hand side as well, we have the Scoriox, which is also obviously a main damage dealer. So in terms of the enemy's board, the right-hand side is where all of the enemy's damage is really focused. If we consider these 2 rogues here, their ability casts on the lowest health unit. So even though they're on this side, the threat of them isn't as big as it would be as, say, like a ram fight, right? That casts exactly where it is.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I can still keep Titan Ore there, though.
Yes, I think keeping Titan Ore here is actually very good. But one thing you mentioned that you wanted to try to achieve was to try to clear out this Dual F really quickly. And look at what's in front of Dual F.
Yeah, there's nothing, I know.
There's nothing. So if we put Seer right up in that corner where your Scoriox is right now, Seer will literally just walk up to the Dual F.
Mm.
So you could get Seer and Scoriox focusing the Dual F down and then starting to walk towards the right side of the board to try to deal with them. So then the question becomes, who do we have in the back to protect against the Rake and the Umber when they get there? We just need someone over there to help deal with them.
I feel like TNT is immune for the first few seconds, and then extending on that. Is immune for the first few seconds, and then it actually kind of like loses value overall midway into the game anyways. I feel like its best damage is its first Omega, and it doesn't do heaps more after that. It usually doesn't last that long anyways. I kind of like it at the back.
Okay.
The other option is I can chuck.
Yeah.
Chuck
so I was
Arlen
going to
back
say
here.
the next thing to think about is always remember to use Cuculus and Arlen in this form as like some sort of utility to help out in a particular scenario. Just for their CC. I wouldn't stack them next to each other, right? Because you might end up having the CC come off at the same time, and then you waste some of the value. But yes.
Oh, that's a bit too much big brain plays right there. You're gonna be too extreme now. You know exactly what I'm saying.
The Arcos, I think, since there isn't actually any danger in the front line, I think you can put the Arcos slightly to the right of your what have I got here? Your Scoriox. Because the danger is actually going to come from behind Scoriox. So if we have him somewhere like slightly to the side, maybe next to him, then it might be a bit better. I think Scoriox is fine where he was. I just dropped the Arcos slightly back a bit next to him. Because the rogues are just going to... No, sorry. So leave Scoriox where he was, sorry.
Yep.
And then you can drop Arcos down a little bit. Yeah, something like that's fine. Maybe forward a little bit. Yeah, so the only thing I'd say here now to consider is possibly splitting your Cuculus and Arlen so that one of them is closer to the right-hand side of the board to help out with Adorius.
I think Arlen was going to target Umbra anyways, wasn't it?
Yeah. I thought you wanted the Umber to go and attack the C4 TNT. TNT and the...
I changed my mind.
Okay.
TNT's a backup.
Yeah, I think this is fine. The Ram fight can't take out a stage 3 Adorius. Like, that guy's a beast.
Yeah. So then like Titanor will get at least 2 ults off him.
How does this board look? Do you feel more confident with this?
It feels strong. My only concern is the Scoriox. But I feel like I have quite a bit of healing and shields now that it should last anyways.
Yeah, we've got massive shields, and when Cuculus casts, we get shield on everyone. Every 10 seconds, or every 15 seconds, we get the shield from the Mystic from Adorius. But it's only really a 10-second downtime.
I've got the Empath shield too.
Yep, at the start of the fight.
All right.
Yeah, let's try it. But yeah, the only thing with this one is, I think it was about recognizing where the enemy's main damage is. That was the big thing here. But what ended up happening is the Alfie got a really good cast on your team, actually. That's not good. Who did we have in the back corner? I didn't even notice that Alfie there, actually.
Cuculus. Yeah, no, I saw him.
Oh, we got wrecked.
Yeah.
Should have taken a screenshot of that
right
board.
there.
Can we look at the damage? Oh, it's gone.
No, I don't think we can. They had a really good split of their DPS all along the back line.
Yeah.
It was a board that would have benefited me a lot more if I had a lot of rogues. That was one of those boards where you need things like Ramfire.
I think Ramfire is definitely the last, because we're playing 7. Are we playing 7 or 8 right now? We're playing 8 units, isn't it?
Looks like we had 8.
So I think Arcos can get replaced for Ramfire. Obviously, we didn't have the mastery points yet here, but Ramfire gives you the fire from Inferno and the fighter in Slayer to buff up the Seer and the Scoriox and the Fernite as well. So Ramfire, if we can fit Ramfire in this board instead of the Arcos, then you kind of have the balance you're looking for there.
Yeah, the thing was that the Alfie, as soon as TNT's immunity ran down, Alfie just like nuked it.
Yeah. Oh man, I want to see that board again. You can go through and figure out.
I'm gonna start heading off now, though. Thank you heaps. Like, so much nuance, and it's going to take a lot of practice, especially if I'm doing like quick runs. But like, yeah, there's so many, like the omegas and things is something I definitely had never considered before. That's probably a big one as well. Yeah, like the opponent's omegas, my omegas, kind of where they're going, where they're targeting, trying to isolate what their biggest threats are. That's also really tricky.
Yeah.
Practice makes perfect, right?
Yep. But I think you have a really, really good like foundation. You already think about the game in a good way. So it's good times, man. It's gonna be fun to keep progressing. The game feels really good.
Yeah, no, it feels nice. It looks great too.
Yeah, for sure.
Easy.
Awesome, man.
Right.
Oh yeah, I'm expecting to see you at punching through the 20s on this leaderboard later on today.
Maybe not today. I've got a lot on this week in terms of other content I need to make, but
Yeah. Okay.
hopefully soon. Sometime this weekend, maybe.
Yeah. Nice, man. That was fun.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it was awesome. All right. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I'll chat to you later.
Yeah, definitely. Have a good one.
You too. Peace.
Peace.